Hello. My name is Robin Marin, and I bring all the Yoga is Where You Are videos to you. Thanks for tuning in. This whole Yoga is Where You Are started out as my BHAG. A BHAG, I'm pretty sure it's a marketing term, and it's for my big, hairy, audacious goal. And I developed this big, hairy, audacious goal many years ago when I had some busy yoga students in Los Angeles and they couldn't always get to class. And they're like, "Oh, Robin, can't you just like download something onto, a camera, a podcast?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I can do that. How am I going to do that?" And so instead of like really doing the hard work on it and figuring out what I had to do, I just kept saying, "I'm going to do it someday. I'm going to do it someday." So I'm finally doing it so I can reach out to anybody who wants to check in with me. Um, Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about yoga etiquette. If you're new to yoga, there's certain etiquette that goes along with walking into a yoga studio. And if you're from the gym world, the Y or the Spectrum or Bally's Fitness, 24 Hours Fitness, there's just a few little tips that you'll want to know about yoga. Um, so the yoga room itself is considered kind of a sacred space. Now, depending on each yoga studio, and you'll get the vibe right when you walk in, the yoga studio itself, not the lobby, but the studio itself, sometimes right when you cross the threshold in the studio, it's like a quiet place. If you go in there and there's like what I call 6-inch voices, then you'll want to use your 6-inch voice as well. And it's a time to transition from wherever you've been into your yoga class. And it's a time for just it's private time before your teacher walks in, and so it's quiet time. You can strike a pose, you can just lay down, just kind of get your eyes and ears open if you're new to a certain studio. Because some studios you walk into the studio space and there's this chit chatting, and that's the space that they've created. So check each studio out when you do go in. Um, Always shoes are slipped off before you enter the practice room. That's a good thing to know. Um, Mats are considered personal space. Um, so even if you're using a studio mat and you know other people are using a studio mat, the studio mat is considered personal space of the practitioner. So you don't want to step on it. You actually step around the mats like stepping stones. Um, Generally, there are no shoes on the yoga mat. Now, that being said, if it's your own mat and you're having feet problem and you need to use your shoes on your yoga mat, that's okay with me. So as long as it's your own mat, you need to protect your body in any way. For a couple years, I had a situation with my feet, and I did yoga with my shoes on to protect my feet. I protected my feet, and now they're all good to go. Um, Other things that you will want to be concerned uh, with regards to being on time. I start my classes on time and generally finish within 2 to 3 to 5 minutes of the finishing time. Be prepared to start right on time. That means get to the studio in an unrushed manner so that you can come in, do what you need to do, take your keys off, shoes off in a quiet fashion rather than shoving them in a bin really quickly and then rushing to yoga. Just leave yourself 5 to 7 minutes to get to class, and so that you can already start being peaceful. Leaving early. There are times when you want to go to yoga and you know you're going to have to leave early for an appointment. I would check that out with your studio owner or your studio director. Check that out and see that it's okay that you leave early. In our studio, it's okay to leave early as long as you let us know and it's not habitual. About leaving early. Shavasana, the final resting pose, is the last pose in class. That is the most important pose that you can do in your entire yoga class. So if you know you're leaving early, carve out a Shavasana for yourself. You've already told your teacher you're leaving early, so when everybody's in like the second or third to last pose, you guys can wink at each other and she knows or he knows you're laying down to take your shavasana. Super important. Finish your shavasana and be scooted out of the room before everybody else is laying down. Now, if you forget that you have to leave early and you're already in shavasana, you're in. Nobody gets up during shavasana. People will send you like daggers of energy, bad energy. All right, so respect other people's time. Let's see what else. Oh, cell phones. Just leave them in the car. Leave them in the car. They're such loud buzzers these days that it's symphonic buzzing sometimes in the studio. If you can't have an hour where your cell phone's not buzzing, just leave it in the car. Um, and then, if your cell phone rings in class, suck it up and go and get it and turn it off. You'd be surprised how many times the phone will ring and everybody's like, la 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 la, I don't hear that. And everybody knows their own phone ring. So you just have to mea culpa, it's my fault. Go get it, we'll forgive you. Um, hey, it's happened to me and it happens to most of us. So just be respectful of that. Let me see if I left anything out. Bum bum. Um, Unlike other class type situations, in yoga, unless it's otherwise stated, questions to the teacher are held for before class or after class. Like if you're in step aerobics or TRX or whatever you're doing, questions are allowed during class, but in general in yoga, we don't want to ask any questions right during class unless it's a workshop or some other type class where the teacher has said, hey, ask questions along the way. It's generally not done. Singing in yoga. In vinyasa flow, a lot of us around the world now are playing music, and if you see someone or hear someone doing this, again, bad juju. You don't want to be tapping your fingers or tapping or clapping or snapping or singing in yoga, unless otherwise, asterisk again, unless there's like some sort of sing-along, which at Yoga SRQ sometimes we do. So keep your singing in your breath and in the movements of your body. Cleanliness. Come to class clean. That doesn't mean you have to like take a full shower and be spanking when you get here, but you should be free from any kind of odor, and that includes food that you might have been eating recently. If you just check it out before you come, okay, we're all breathing in class together, and you want to have kind of neutral smells going on, and wash your feet. Okay, don't come to class with dirty feet. Okay, my mother is from India, and she wouldn't let us get into bed. I don't know if it has anything to do with being from India, but I always thought it did. You had to wash your feet before you got into bed. You could be dirty from the park, and it was too late to take a shower, but no dirty feet in the bed. So at least wash your feet before you get to class. Let's see, what else? Oh, this is not really etiquette, but it's something that you should know, and it comes to a little bit of a surprise for some people who are new to yoga. Um, when we release tension from our body and through breathing and stretching, emotions are released. And quite often, if it hasn't happened to you yet, should you be so fortunate, you might start crying. It's usually at the end of class, or you might have kind of a weepy, happy feeling. And I want you to know that that is normal. It happens to a lot of people, and it is a little startling to some people when it happens because it's unexpected. So if it happens, it's really a good thing. So you're releasing tension, and that's what yoga is all about, and getting deep into your feelings and releasing stuff. Let's see. That might be it. One more thing. Eating. Um, uh, Eat at least 90 minutes before your class, and no caffeine before class. Okay? I think that's it. Namaste.